Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Extend Your Security and Observability in AWS module. My name is Anthony Smith. I'm a Senior Partner Solutions Architect with AWS based in New York City, and my primary focus is security products and solutions, working with ISV partners and helping our customers grow their business on AWS. I will be covering security and compliance of AWS resources, including the shared responsibility model, and how you could elevate your security posture with AWS services and infrastructure. I will cover network monitoring and visibility and introduce you to some of the tools and services available. And I will show you how Gigamon uses AWS Gateway Load Balancers for deep observability pipeline. Security at AWS is our number one priority, and the AWS cloud has been architected to be one of the most flexible and secure cloud environments available. With the security shared responsibility model, AWS is responsible for security of the cloud. AWS protects all the infrastructure and services offered in the AWS cloud. The customer is responsible for security in the cloud. The customer is responsible for protecting their applications and workloads that they deployed. They have the flexibility to put more emphasis on security of sensitive data and adjust as needed in areas where there's less concern. Compliance and regulation shared responsibility follows the same shared responsibility pattern where AWS is responsible for compliance of the cloud. AWS takes the burden off the customer of obtaining and maintaining the accreditation of the infrastructure. We have achieved and secured for our customers several industry-recognized certifications, such as SOC 1, SOC 2, SOC 3, and ISO 27001. Customers can run HIPAA and PCI-compliant workloads on AWS. Customers is responsible for compliance in the cloud. The customer can bring their own security control mapping and compliance requirement and run it on AWS. They have full responsibility of ensuring their applications and workloads are compliant with their own requirements. They can use third-party audit for that as well. Using AWS infrastructure and services helps you elevate your security posture. As an AWS customer, you will benefit from AWS data centers and a network architected to protect your information, identities, applications, and devices. With AWS, you can improve your ability to meet core security and compliance requirements. Today, AWS protects millions of active customers around the world. Our customers represent diverse industries with a wide range of use cases, including large enterprises, startups, educational institutions, and government organizations. The scale and global reach of these customers gives us broad visibility and deep perspective on cloud security, knowledge which we rapidly reinvest back into our leading-edge infrastructure and services. All customers benefit from AWS being a commercial cloud provider that has had its service offering and associated supply chain vetted and accepted as secure enough for top secret workloads. AWS allows you to automate manual security tasks so you can shift your focus to scaling and innovating your business. Plus, you pay only for the services that you use. AWS has the largest network of security partners and solutions. You can extend the benefits of AWS by using security technologies and consulting services from familiar solution providers you already know and trust. AWS supports more security standards and compliance certifications than any other offering, including PCI DSS, HIPAA, FedRAMP, and the list goes on. You inherit the most comprehensive security and compliance controls. To aid your compliance efforts, AWS regularly achieves third-party validation for thousands of global compliance requirements that we continually monitor to help you meet security and compliance standards for finance, retail, healthcare, government, and beyond. You inherit the latest security controls operated by AWS, strengthening your own compliance and certification programs, while also receiving access to tools you can use to reduce your cost and time to run your own specific security assurance requirements. With AWS, you control where your data is stored, who can access it, and what resources your organization is consuming at any given moment. You gain fine-grained identity and access controls combined with continuous monitoring for near real-time security information, which will help you ensure that the right resources have the right access at all times wherever your information is stored. Helps you reduce risk as you scale by using our security automation and activity monitoring services to detect suspicious security events like configuration changes across your ecosystem. You can even integrate our services with your existing solutions to support existing workflows, streamline your operations, and simplify compliance reporting. AWS is vigilant about your privacy. Because our customers care deeply about data security, we have a world-class team of security experts monitoring our systems 24/7 to protect your content. With AWS, you can build on the most secure global infrastructure, knowing you always own your data, including the ability to encrypt it, move it, and manage retention. All data flowing across the AWS global network that interconnects our data centers and regions is automatically encrypted at the physical layer before it leaves our secured facilities. Additional encryption layers exist as well. For example, all VPC cross-region peering traffic and customer or service-to-service uses TLS connections. We provide tools that allow you to easily encrypt your data in transit at rest to help you ensure that only authorized users can access it using key managed by our AWS Key Management Systems, KMS, or managing your own encryption keys with Cloud HSM using FIPS 140-2 Level 3 validated HSMs. We also give you the control and visibility you need to help demonstrate that you comply with regional and local data privacy laws and regulations. The design of our global infrastructure allows you to retain complete control over the regions in which your data is physically located, helping you meet data residency requirements. Automating security tasks on AWS enables you to be more secure by reducing human configuration errors and giving your team more time to focus on other work critical to your business. You can select from a wide variety of deeply integrated solutions that can be combined to automate tasks in novel ways, making it easier for your security team to work closely with developer and operations teams to create and deploy code faster and more securely. For example, by employing technologies like machine learning, AWS enables you to automatically and continuously discover, classify, and protect sensitive data in AWS with just a few clicks in the AWS console. You can also automate infrastructure and application security checks to continually enforce your security and compliance controls and help ensure confidentiality, integrity, and availability at all times. You can automate in a hybrid environment with our information management and security tools to easily integrate AWS as a seamless and secure extension of your on-premises and legacy environments. AWS offers a wide array of security, identity, and compliance solutions that are well aligned with the AWS Security Well-Architected Framework. The design principles of the Security Well-Architected Framework implies that you have implemented a strong identity foundation, Implement the principle of least privilege and enforce separation of duties with appropriate authorizations for each interaction with your AWS resources. You want to centralize your identity management and aim to eliminate reliance on long-term static credentials. You want to enable traceability by monitoring, alerting, and auditing actions and changes to your environment in real time. Integrate log and metric collection with systems to automatically investigate and take action. You want to apply security at all layers. Apply a defense in depth approach with multiple security controls. Apply to all layers, for example, your edge of the network, your VPC, your load balancing, every instance and compute service, operating system, applications, and code. You want to automate security best practices. Automated software-based security mechanisms improve your ability to securely scale more rapidly and cost-effectively. You can create secure architectures, including the implementation of controls that are defined and managed as code in version control templates. You want to protect data in transit and at rest. Classify your data into sensitivity levels and use mechanisms such as encryption, tokenization, and access control where appropriate. Keep people away from data. Use mechanisms and tools to reduce or eliminate the need for direct access or manual processing of data. This reduces the risk of mishandling or modification and human error when handling sensitive data. Prepare for security events. Prepare for an incident by having incident management and investigation policy and processes that align to your organizational requirements. Run incident response simulation and use tools with automation to increase your speed for detection, investigation, and recovery. Now that I've gone through an overview of security and compliance at AWS, I will dive into network monitoring and visibility. There are two options for traffic visibility: VPC flow logs and traffic mirroring. VPC flow log is a feature that enables you to capture information about IP traffic going to and from network interfaces in your VPC. It collects and stores header information of the IP packets. Traffic mirroring is a feature that you could use to copy network traffic from an elastic network interface or an ENI of an EC2 instance, and then you could send that traffic to security and monitoring appliances. Traffic mirroring copies full network traffic, including the payload. I'll quickly go through an anatomy of a flow log as it provides a lot of valuable information, such as the account ID, the ID of the ENI, the source and destination IP address, source and destination port, the protocol number, the number of packets and bytes, the timestamp, the start and date, and the status of the traffic and of the log. Once you have captured the VPC flow logs, you can utilize CloudWatch Log Insights to search and analyze the log data. This will allow you to visualize the results and help you respond to any operational issues. There are built-in sample queries such as the top 10 bytes transfer by source and destination IP addresses available to you. An example of this is shown in the screenshot to the right. You could also save and reuse your queries. What you see on the screen on the left-hand side is an EC2 instance that's using ENI1 to communicate over the internet. Setting up traffic mirroring takes a couple of clicks. What's on the right-hand side is a monitoring instance that will be receiving the same traffic for analysis. So all you need to do is click on Create Traffic Mirror Setting and apply the destination, and then off you go. Your traffic now is mirrored. And the monitoring instance could be your own traffic analyzer, open source traffic analysis, or an AWS traffic mirroring partner. There are three components for VPC Traffic Mirroring, the target where you'd be sending the traffic to, the filters that you apply to determine which traffic are you interested in. Is it the inbound, the outbound, or more granular filters? And the session, which ties it all together, the source and the target. There are different traffic visibility use cases using VPC flow logs and traffic mirroring. For VPC flow logs, can be used to diagnose overly restrictive security group rules to see if there are any denials that may be blocking traffic. You can use it to monitor traffic that is reaching your instance. You can use it to determine the direction of the traffic to and from the network interface within your VPC. For traffic mirroring, you could use it for content inspection, threat monitoring, and troubleshooting. Customers tell us that one of the common issues they have is setting up new network connectivity and then troubleshooting when there are connectivity issues. Customers have asked us for a better self-diagnosis tool to catch misconfiguration such as routing or security group rules. And here it is, VPC Reachability Analyzer. With this tool, you can simply select the source and destination resource in your VPC that are having a connectivity problem. It can detect what's blocking the traffic, including the specific security group or routing rule. This can cut down your resolution time from days, hours to just a few minutes. Unlike the conventional approach of sending packets between a source and destination to check for connectivity, Reachability Analyzer uses an automated reasoning approach to check for reachability properties. You can also use Reachability Analyzer to verify that your configuration matches your intended connectivity. For example, your intent could be that a given source and destination should not be connected. You select the source and destination and run reachability analysis between them. If Reachability Analyzer returns that the source and destinations are in fact connected, you can immediately fix this violated intent by tightening up your security group or network ACL rules. This way, you can use this tool as a security tool. Finally, you could use Reachability Analyzer to proactively ensure that your intent holds true over time as changes are made to your organizations. Environments and configuration can drift over time. To maintain your network connectivity, you can express your intent as a set of analysis and validate them automatically as part of your deployment or monitoring infrastructure. What you see on the right-hand side is an example. There you could see that the source and destination are specified at the top. Reachability status shows not reachable. It also shows why, which is very important. It tells you that in this case that none of the egress rules in the following security groups apply. Reachability Analyzer has a mathematical reasoning model to automatically provide the explanation. This is more helpful than tracing logs and checking configuration to find the issue. Customers also tell us that they want an ability to verify their network security posture. They want the ability to identify potential network paths that do not meet their specified requirements, or validate that the network configurations do not allow for any unintended network access. In 2022, we launched the VPC Network Access Analyzer, or NAA, that allows you to validate that your network configurations meet or do not meet your compliance requirements. You select the network access scope from a list of predefined templates, or you create a custom template based on your network requirements. You then run the analyzer to verify the network access based on the defined scope. NAA provides findings that are potential paths in your network entries based on your network access scope. NAA uses an automated reasoning approach to check for reachability properties. Using Network Access Analyzer, you can demonstrate compliance of your network security requirements. You can verify that your production network cannot unintentionally be reached by resources on development networks. You can verify the resources that can be reached from the internet. You can verify that you have appropriate network controls such as network firewalls and NAT gateways on all network paths between your resources and internet gateways. You can also verify that your resources have access only from a trusted IP address range over specific ports and protocols. An explanation of the screenshot on the right. The top right image shows the predefined template that you could select or create an empty template. The bottom right image shows the access verification of the EC2 instance of the EC2 to Internet gateways. This is helpful in validating if an instance can reach the Internet. For application and infrastructure monitoring, we rely on CloudWatch metrics and CloudWatch alarms. For CloudWatch metrics, we automatically collect default metrics for more than 70 AWS services, and CloudWatch alarms allows you to set a threshold on these metrics and trigger an action. Some of the key metrics available in CloudWatch for an EC2 instances is the information about in and out bytes, as well as the network packet count in and out. Additional instance level network performance metrics are available on instances using Elastic Network Adapter or ENA, both for Windows and Linux operating system. For Shield Advanced metrics, you can detect whether a DDoS is in progress, and if there's a DDoS, you can get the attack bits per second and packets per second. And if you're using WAF, you have applied to the service, you can get the metrics about how many requests have been blocked. On the right, you can see plotted is an EC2 instance network in and out bytes in a line graph format. There are different types of metrics available to monitor your connectivity from on-premises. For VPN, we can get the information about VPN state as well as the data in and out data. For Direct Connect, once again, we can see metrics about state and then data about bits per second, packets per second, ingress and egress. For virtual interfaces, we have information about bits per second and packets per second of ingress and egress. With Transit Gateway, we have metrics about bytes in, out, packets in and out, and so on. Custom metrics are also supported by publishing the metrics using the AWS CLI or an API. For example, if you are using a third-party firewall, that firewall can potentially publish metrics into CloudWatch. You can automate your response with CloudWatch alarms to take some actions. So once you have the metrics collected in CloudWatch, you can set up an alarm and invoke an action when a threshold is breached. When a threshold is breached, CloudWatch alarm sends a message to an SNS topic, which sends the message to the topic subscriber endpoints. Some of these examples include the ability to send messages to Chime or Slack room and allow them to interact to a bot, which in turn can respond with a CLI command. You can invoke disaster recovery, update security groups, or respond to traffic anomalies, such as spike or decreases in traffic. Now that you know more about CloudWatch metrics and alarms, let's take a look at some of the use cases. CloudWatch metrics can be used to monitor the bytes and packets in and out of multiple AWS services. You can use this to monitor DDoS and web exploit activity, and also to monitor the state of your VPN and Direct Connect connections. With CloudWatch alarms, you could use it to notify your changes in VPN and Direct Connect statuses and to alert on traffic anomaly. For visualizing your network state and performance, AWS offers CloudWatch dashboards and Transit Gateway Network Manager. CloudWatch dashboards allows you to create graphs to visualize your cloud resources, network metrics, and support multiple AWS accounts and regions. Transit Gateway Manager uses CloudWatch metrics to provide a single view of your private network. Transit Gateway Manager is available in only the environment that utilizes the Transit Gateway. You can centrally manage global networks with Network Manager. Transit Gateway Network Manager allows you to visualize and monitor global networks. With visualization, you can monitor global dashboards across AWS regions and on-premises sites. There is both a geographic and topology view available. With monitoring, you monitor metric and events through CloudWatch. For metrics, you could see data in and out and packet drop for a transit gateway at attachment level. And with events, you could see topology changes, status changes, and routing updates of the transit gateway. There are multiple use cases for using CloudWatch dashboards or Transit Gateway Network Manager. For CloudWatch dashboard, you can set up a single view for network metrics and alarms, single view for VPN and direct connect state, single view for DDoS and web exploit activity. For Transit Gateway Network Manager, visualizing the global network across AWS region and on-premise sites, viewing the health status of your VPN connections, monitoring transit gateway metrics, and monitoring network events. Monitoring API calls using CloudTrail and CloudTrail Insights. CloudTrail provides event history of your AWS account activity, including actions taken through the management console, SDKs, command line tools, and other services. CloudTrail Insights automatically analyzes management events from your CloudTrail trails and detect unusual patterns. CloudTrail Lake store immutable events for 7 years and run complex standard query language queries across multiple fields in a CloudTrail event across all regions. In CloudTrail, there are multiple phases such as capture, which records API activity such as CloudTrail events, store, in which you are able to save the event logs in a secure S3 bucket, which permits auditing of network resource changes, act, when an important event is detected, you can trigger an action. For example, if a new VPN is created, you could notify a Slack channel. Review, you can use details of CloudTrail to review details of transit gateway route table changes. A quick overview of a CloudTrail log anatomy. At the top, we have the event version. Then we have details of the IAM principal of the requester. We have the time the event occurred, the source of the event. This example, we can see that the source is an EC2 instance. The event name, in this case, it is create VPN connection. The region is US West 2, the IP address of the source, user agent, in this case, console triggering the event. Then we have parameters of the request, an element of the response request IDs, event ID, even type and account IDs, which shows in the account on which this event occurred. The 3 fields highlighted are actually nested JSON objects. The use cases for CloudTrail. Now that you know more about CloudTrail, CloudTrail Insights, CloudTrail Lake, let us take a look at the use cases. For CloudTrail, it is used for logging changes to network resources such as VPN, transit gateway, and network load balancers, and for compliance, operational, and risk auditing. With CloudTrail Insights, it can be used to detect bursts of IAM traffic within your network and to detect spikes in EC2 instance creation of a third-party virtual router. CloudTrail Lake can be used as an auditing solution that complements your compliance stack. It can be used to store immutable events for 7 years that you can run ad hoc queries against for security and compliance. With Gigamon deep observability pipeline and integration with AWS gateway load balancers, monitoring network traffic at scale across multiple VPCs and accounts with a centralized traffic inspection in a single VPC across the entire organization is now possible. The VPC mirrored account on the left. You can mirror traffic using the gateway load balancer endpoint, forwarding traffic to a centralized VPC where you have a gateway load balancer target integrated with a fleet of GigaView Cloud Suite vSeries nodes for observability. This can be done at scale. And what the gateway load balancer helps you is easily deploy, scale, and manage your third-party virtual appliances. It gives you one gateway for distributing traffic across multiple virtual appliances while scaling them up or down based on demand. This decreases potential points of failure in your network and increases availability. Customers can now simplify how they monitor network traffic across multiple VPCs and accounts with centralized inspection in a single VPCs across the organization. Thank you for attending today's session. If you have questions about any of the AWS services discussed today, please reach out to your AWS contact.